ceasefire on paper, rearmament in motion. US intelligence says China may be preparing to send Iran new air defense weapons, systems that could target low-flying jets. Beijing denies it. Washington isn't convinced. So is this pause in the war, or preparation for the next round? US intelligence assessments are raising fresh concerns about the stability of the fragile ceasefire in the Middle East, with indications that China may be preparing to supply Iran with new air defense systems in the coming weeks. According to multiple sources familiar with the intelligence, Beijing is believed to be planning the transfer of shoulder-fired anti-air missile systems, commonly known as MANPADS. These weapons are particularly effective against low-flying aircraft and had already posed a significant threat to US military operations during the recent 5-week conflict. The timing of the reported move is striking. China had publicly positioned itself as a diplomatic actor, claiming a role in helping broker the ceasefire between Iran and the United States. However, the latest intelligence suggests Tehran may be using this pause not just to regroup, but to replenish its military capabilities with external support. There are also indications that China is attempting to conceal the origin of these shipments. Sources told US media that the systems could be routed through third countries, allowing Beijing to maintain plausible deniability while continuing to support Iran behind the scenes. If confirmed, such a transfer would mark a significant escalation. While Chinese firms have previously been accused of supplying dual-use technologies to Iran, a direct state-linked weapons transfer would represent a new level of involvement in the conflict. China, however, has strongly denied the allegations.
China has never provided weapons to any party to the conflict. The information in question is untrue. As a responsible major country, China consistently fulfills its international obligations. We urge the US side to refrain from making baseless allegations.
Despite these denials, recent battlefield developments have added to the speculation. US President Donald Trump stated that an F-15 fighter jet shot down over Iran was likely hit by a handheld, heat-seeking missile, suggesting the use of advanced short-range air defense systems. Iran has claimed it used a new system, though it has not disclosed its origin. The broader geopolitical context adds another layer of complexity. Trump is expected to visit Beijing next month for talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, even as tensions simmer over the reported intelligence. At the same time, US and Chinese officials have held high-level discussions during the ceasefire negotiations. Analysts suggest Beijing is walking a careful line. On one hand, China has deep economic ties with Iran, including a heavy reliance on Iranian oil. On the other, it has little strategic incentive to openly confront the United States or Israel in a direct conflict. Meanwhile, Russia continues to back Iran in other ways, including intelligence sharing that has reportedly aided Tehran's targeting capabilities during the war. Taken together, these developments suggest that while the ceasefire may have paused active hostilities, the strategic competition behind the scenes is intensifying. And if these weapons transfers materialize, the next phase of the conflict could become far more complex and far more dangerous. The scale of the Israel-Iran conflict is perhaps best understood not through rhetoric, but through numbers. In just days of intense fighting, the Israel Defense Forces carried out a staggering volume of strikes deep inside Iranian territory. According to Israeli assessments, more than 10,800 strikes were conducted during the conflict, targeting military infrastructure, missile systems, and key nodes of Iran's security apparatus. At the same time, reports indicate that as many as 18,000 bombs were dropped over the course of the war, underscoring both the intensity and the sustained nature of the campaign. These bombs were dropped as part of 1,000 waves of aircraft, with those aircraft flying 8,500 separate sorties. Meanwhile, CENTCOM said that the US had struck over 13,000 targets within Iran. The strikes extended across multiple Iranian cities, hitting weapons production facilities, air defense systems, and missile launch sites. This was not a limited exchange. It was a high-tempo, large-scale air campaign designed to degrade Iran's ability to respond. Tehran did respond. Iran launched approximately 650 missiles towards Israel during the conflict, in what became one of the largest direct barrages between the two countries. Many of these were ballistic missiles, some equipped with advanced warheads, including cluster munitions in certain cases. However, the impact of these attacks was significantly reduced by Israel's multi-layered air defense systems. Despite the scale of the barrage, Israeli casualty figures remained relatively limited. According to available data, 24 people were killed in Israel during the war, while thousands were injured and infrastructure damage was reported across several cities. The relatively low death toll compared to the number of incoming missiles highlights the effectiveness of interception systems, though it also reflects the unpredictable nature of missile warfare. On the Iranian side, the damage was far more extensive. Israeli strikes targeted not just missile infrastructure, but also command centers, intelligence hubs, and senior leadership figures. Hundreds of sites were hit, including facilities linked to Iran's nuclear and defense programs. The cumulative effect was significant. Missile launch rates from Iran dropped sharply as the war progressed, with some estimates suggesting a decline of over 90% by the later stages of the conflict. This reduction has been attributed to successful targeting of launchers, storage facilities, and command structures. In purely numerical terms, the imbalance is clear. Thousands of Israeli strikes, hundreds of Iranian missiles, a relatively contained casualty count in Israel, and widespread structural damage within Iran. But beyond the numbers lies a deeper story. This was not just a war of firepower. It was a war of precision, intelligence, and systemic disruption. And the numbers, stark as they are, only begin to tell that story.